fancy. I liked this one. Truth or Dare, I really liked that one. Sinister, that wasn't that good. Mortal Kombat is not really a scary movie. I want to watch Truth or Dare one. Do y'all want to watch that? Do y'all want to watch? Which one y'all want to watch? Truth or Dare or Sinister 2? Which one? Truth or Dare? Okay. I want to watch that one. I want to watch that one too.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Truth or Dare, released in 2018. Truth or Dare was produced by Blumhouse Productions, which throughout the 2010s,
that's the girl from Pretty Little Liars. She's so pretty.
became an absolute powerhouse of the horror genre. Led by the ebullient Jason Blum, who should definitely come on What's Your Favorite Scary Movie, Blumhouse has pumped out hit after hit using a tried and true company motto: give directors creative freedom with a smallish budget, usually under $5 million, and reap the rewards when those movies clean up at the box office. Though their output may be more quote-unquote mainstream than the art house films distributed by A24, I think that together, these two companies have helped.
I'm gonna turn down the lights. Is that too...
helped usher in our current horror renaissance, breathing new life into the genre. Which is
Makes
not
it
to
look
say
like a
every
trash ball.
Blumhouse film is a good one, and many count Truth or Dare among its weaker endeavors. Starring Lucy Hale of Pretty Little Liars fame, who I wasn't familiar with back in 2017 when I mistakenly called her an unknown in the Scream 4 kill count, Truth or Dare is
She
a
was in Scream
supernatural
4?
story centered around the titular slumber party game and a demon that uses it to kill people. With its slick production and youthful cast, it's very clearly aimed at a teenage audience, which explains why it was released to theaters with a PG-13 rating. For this kill count, I'll be using the unrated home release version, but trust me, it's not different enough to warrant a cut comparison. It's only 30 seconds longer, and most of the extra footage is of the characters drinking alcohol, with only a few additional shots of gore. Though not everything about this movie is bad, Lucy Hale is a solid leading lady, and I like the way the game's rules play out among the participants. Overall, it's definitely one big old pile of meh. There are a lot of clumsy plot details, especially as it nears its conclusion, and it's hard to get over how stupid the Snapchat filter smiley faces look. They even ADR'd
I thought they were cool.
a line about it after the rest of production was finished.
It looked like a messed up Snapchat filter.
I think the best way to sum up how I feel about Truth or Dare is to compare it to the very similar Countdown. In that movie's kill count, I said that if you were new to horror movies, you could pick something worse to watch. Well, this is something worse to watch. Dare me to count all the kills in this movie? I've got to tell the truth. I was hoping you would.
Why he pooping on this movie? I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not a horror movie connoisseur.
The movie
but dang.
begins looking like the music video for Stylo. Watch out for Bruce Willis, y'all! A tired-looking young woman named Giselle is at a gas station in Mexico when the attendant asks her a simple question.
Truth or dare, Giselle?
Please, I don't want to play anymore, please.
Truth or dare?
Next thing you know, Giselle is lighting a woman on fire, saying she didn't have a choice. The woman goes up in flames and runs Toasty out the door, collapsing on the ground into a title card. The story behind that opening scene, and actually how the movie got made in general, might help explain why it's so poorly regarded. It all started when Michael Moses, Universal's co-president of worldwide marketing, asked Jason Blum to make a movie about the game Truth or
Ooh,
Dare.
that's scary.
And that was it. They just gave him a title and told him to make a movie. Blum took the idea to Jeff Wadlow, who, again, was only given the name to work with.
Do you want to make a scary movie called Truth or Dare? And I said, yeah, do you have a script? What do you got? He said, we got nothing, we got a title.
Wadlow, who wrote and directed Kick-Ass 2 in 2013, was a good choice for the project. His feature film debut, 2005's Cry Wolf, was also about a bunch of college kids playing a game that turned deadly, as discussed on the Dead Meat podcast a while back. In his meeting with Blum, Wadlow came up with the opening scene on the spot, then wrote the rest of the movie with a writer's room room that included Michael Rice and married writing partners Jillian Jacobs and Chris Roach. And it all started with an executive saying, make a movie with the title Truth or Dare. Not exactly a passion project, you know? Lucy Hale plays Olivia Barron, a do-gooder college student who would be spending her spring break building houses with Habitat for Humanity if not for her longtime best friend, Marky.
I unsigned you up.
You what?
Yeah, I told Habitat you got shingles.
Damn, Marky, messing with
She
life
looks
plans
familiar.
and shit? Anything for a party, I guess. Marky and their roommate Penelope are woo girls to the max, and are just fine coercing Olivia onto their Mexico trip, along with Penelope's boyfriend Tyson and their friend Brad. Marky's boyfriend Lucas is also coming along, and is happy to see Olivia joining them, but perhaps not as happy as she is to join him. With 3 cheers for youth, the kids take off for an opening credits sequence showing them driving into Mexico and living an Instagram life. Or a Snapchat life? I don't know, man. Whatever it is, it involves a whole bunch of alcohol and horniness.
Olay! Oh, I want to lay you. Let's go back to the hotel.
The footage for this sequence was filmed by the cast themselves during a trip to Rosarito Beach in Mexico, which they went on a week before production began so they could all bond together.
And we had a crazy night.
To really cement the bonding, the cast even played Truth or Dare. Everyone except Lucy Hale.
They were all in the hot tub. Lucy's got a
Her hair looks pretty here.
bedtime, and it was past Lucy's bedtime, so I didn't play, actually.
On the last night of their dancing sexy times vacation, Olivia is chatting with Lucas when she sees Marky grinding on another dude. What, right behind him? Sounds like it's nothing new though. Marky is a serial cheater, and Olivia's always bailing her out. At the bar, Olivia runs into a
Yo, I know there's somebody in here, but I'm gonna act like there's somebody in here. Question. So if you see your homegirl or your homeboy, I ain't gonna say nothing about the homeboys because I already know how they are. But if you see your homegirl cheating, right? You're not gonna say anything, right? Or you gonna say something? If you catch your friend or your cousin cheating with another dude, would you tell? Would you snitch? Say if you really like the dude, like say if you really like the boyfriend and you see your homegirl cheating on him, would you tell him? Or would you, all ain't nothing happen? My name Bennett and I ain't in it. Honestly, I don't know, bro. It might be the same for me, it might not. But that's funny. My name Bennett and I ain't in it.
It's one of those sex pest type things. But when a handsome stranger named Carter interjects on
Handsome?
Olivia's behalf, Ron backs down to go take some shots.
I can't say no to shots. Everyone knows that. That's why I'm gonna leave, not because of what you said.
Carter hits it off with Olivia, and after the bar closes, he suggests to her friends that they head to a super cool secret spot to keep the party going. He
he's
leads
the
them all
guy-
to an old
He's the guy that brings them there because he wants to do the game so he can get out of it.
abandoned church, where inside he,
trust nobody.
has a cooler with ice and beer in it? How's that been here this whole time? Also, somehow, Ron appears out of nowhere.
You can't keep Ron from a party.
That's a scientific fact. Carter suggests they play a game of Truth or Dare as a way to discover each other's secrets and make their friends do things they don't want to.
That actually does sound kind of interesting.
Does it? Why is Tyson responding like this is the first time the game's ever been explained to him? They agree to play, since it's the name of the goddamn movie, and after a quick selfie, Olivia's the first up to bat. She picks Truth, and Brad asks her if she'd rather save the lives of everyone in Mexico or the lives of everyone in this room. A utilitarian humanitarian, Olivia picks Mexico.
I love you, but millions of people? Come on. It's the only right answer.
Alcohol continues to lubricate the game, with Penelope daring Ron to give a lap dance to Tyson, and Marky daring Lucas to streak for them. Then Tyson, a major doucher, asks Marky an awkward truth.
Are you aware that Olivia is in love with your boyfriend?
what the fuck, guy? Penelope tries to move things along by asking Brad who he'd make out with out of everyone there. He chooses the Daniel Radcliffe look.
Oh, Olivia.
Carter, by the way. But Olivia, mad at Tyson, bites back at him with a judgmental dare.
I dare you to stop selling forged prescriptions to freshmen.
Oh, shit.
Olivia, always with the moral high ground.
Penelope's turn comes next, with Ron naturally daring her to make it.
Bro, honestly, Truth or Dare, I played Truth or Dare like several times. And every time I like a movie, it always ends up like people, you know, getting mad at each other. Like, I've never had that happen before.
Out with Olivia, and when she finishes up the round by asking Carter what his plans are with Olivia, things get somehow even less fun.
I needed to find someone with friends that I could trick into coming here. I could tell Olivia was a pushover, which made her an easy target. I'm okay with strangers dying if it means I get to live.
Oh, thought you were just trying to get your dick wet, dude. Carter pieces out, but not before telling Olivia that they must continue to play the game going forward.
Tell the truth, or you die. Do the dare, or you die.
His point is punctuated by a bunch of scary faces, but they disappear in a hurry. Don't worry though, you'll see them fucking plenty. After spring break concludes, the kids head back to college, but Olivia just can't seem to shake the game of Truth or Dare. It's scribbled on her desk, written on the back of a flyer, and even engraved in the side of her car. Olivia and Marky haven't talked since the game, so Marky stews alone in her bedroom, watching a video on her phone of her father who recently...
First of all, why would she even really care, to be honest, if she's cheating anyways?
Killed himself. You know, Marky sucks, but it's hard not to feel bad for her here.
I don't feel bad.
She and Olivia try to make up over mojitos, with way too many mint leaves in them. But the next day, Olivia's confronted by a stretchy face in the library.
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah, she's getting stretchy-faced all over the place. Though the face filter is not always applied uniformly. Friggin' beanpole back there looks normal as fuck. The hallucinations harass her with chants of Truth or Dare until she yells out truth in desperation.
What secret does your best friend make you hide?
Marky's constantly cheating on Lucas.
That's so embarrassing.
Oh, come on, Liv. This is a library. Great, you made it too loud for Lucas to study here. But how are you about to get mad at Olivia, Marky? You're the ass.
I call it the wheel.
It's too loud. It's too late to be this loud. That's why I don't want to play that game anymore.
This is a miss.
Brother David, behold!
Asshole here. That night at a bar, Ron is harassing a woman when she becomes a stretch face strong and asks him Truth or Dare. He's into it enough to answer Dare, so she tells him to stand on a pool table and hang dong. He's just about to do it when some wang haranguing begins, and after he changes his mind and refuses to do the dare, he suddenly becomes possessed. God damn it, this face looks so fucking dumb. Well, that death is not too bad, to be honest. Cracker! Olivia is telling the others about what she saw in the library when they all get texts with a video of Ron's accident. Olivia sees that he was playing Truth or Dare, but nobody believes her about the game having followed them. That is until—
That's the problem. Like, it's so freaking annoying when you, as the audience, know dang well that what the protagonist is saying is true, and then the other people, the less important people, don't believe them. It makes you just want to jump through the freaking screen and strangle everybody, bro.
Lucas is walking home through the town's graffiti district. The question dogs him through spray paint and then an engraving on his arm, causing him to answer a truth that he reveals to Olivia on the phone.
I've had feelings for Olivia since we met.
And that's how you construct a sturdy love triangle. With Lucas vouching for her now, Olivia tells everyone that the game is moving through them in the same order they played in Mexico. She was first, then Ron, who's gone, and then Lucas. And next up will be Marky. Sure enough, Marky gets a text asking her Truth or Dare. And although she doesn't believe any of this, with Olivia's insistence, she plays along. Her dare is to break Olivia's hand, and since Olivia's practical as hell, she grabs a hammer and orders the deed done. It's a good scene where Marky is understandably hesitant, until Olivia finds the right motivation for her.
Oh, don't tell me you're a fucking coward like your dad.
Yep, that'll do it. Lucas and Brad take Olivia to the hospital,
That
where,
looks so
look,
fake.
I'll be honest, a dead body is shown, but I'm not gonna count it. They were already dead when we got here, and they weren't really a character. That might conflict with some 2018 kill count bylaw or something, but you know what I say in situations like this. Fuck it! The dead body becomes a Snapchat smiling ghoul who asks Brad truth or dare, to which he answers truth. Bad time for his homophobic cop dad to show up. And we know he's homophobic because of some earlier clunky exposition.
Remind me why I didn't go to school thousands of miles away from my overbearing and homophobic father.
Well, so you could feed the audience that line, Brad. His truth forces him to come out to his father, but it happens off screen. We only hear about it later when he tells the others. Such a weird choice for a character's big emotional moment like that. That means Tyson's up next in the game, but this poo-texting little American psycho ignores his friends' warnings as he heads into a med school interview so he can be a doctor. The interview ends with the dean asking him truth or dare, to which he can
The
only
faces
respond
are like
with a
so
very
the smiling faces, they're like so inconsistent. Like some of them are like real dramatic and the other ones are like
Confused
barely
truth.
noticeable.
How long have you been forging prescriptions?
Tyson says that he doesn't, and since he didn't tell the truth, that boy's about to be a smiley vessel for self-harm. His friends arrive just in time to hear him stab himself in the eye with his lucky pen, and then drive it in deeper by slamming his head against the wall. Holy shit! This kill is the one most affected by the unrated cut, by the way. The kids try to track down Carter
Wait,
to
you
see
can
how they
die
can
like
stop
that?
the game, and end up
You can really die like that? Does that like kill your brain or something? Probably. I don't know.
finding an article about that Giselle chick who started the film lighting a lady on fire. Good times. One rack focus later, they see that Carter is a friend of hers, so they message her demanding that she meet with them. While they wait for her to respond, they decide that in order to survive the game, they'll only pick truth and never lie when they answer. Easy peasy, right? Not quite. Because when a drunken morose Penelope is confronted by a smiley version of herself in the mirror, she's told she's not allowed to pick truth right now.
That's not how this game works.
She's forced to pick dare, and her dare is to walk around the roof of the house until she finishes a fifth of vodka. Dare me to drive? This is by far my favorite sequence of the film.
Honestly,
a really
I
well-directed,
think that would be easy, though.
suspenseful
Why
set
is she
piece
on
that
the
sees
corner?
everyone
Why
doing
don't
their
she
best
just
to help
stay-
Penelope.
I don't
I
understand
love
why
the
she's on the-
coordination
Wait,
with the
she had to be
futon
on the
mattress,
edge?
and how Lucas
Does she have
isn't
to be on
allowed
the
to
edge?
physically help her because that would be cheating. I also love that, despite the movie's low budget,
Does she have to be on the edge?
because that would be cheating. I also love that, despite the movie's low budget.
Does she have to be on the edge?
Because that would be cheating. I also love that, despite the movie's low budget.
Does she have to be on the edge? The frick?
Budget, they filmed it practically with harnesses on a real roof. No green screens needed. Things get treacherous in the form of some spiky fence posts, but Olivia breaks the gate down in time for Penelope to finish the bottle and fall safely onto the mattress.
Is this my bed?
They hear back from Giselle and go to meet her in an alleyway, one that clearly doesn't have any running water nearby, cause that is one dirty lady. Giselle confirms that she and her friends, including some dude named Sam who trashed the place, played Truth or Dare in that Mexican church, after which the game started killing them one by one. She also explains why Penelope wasn't able to pick truth.
It's how we played. We called it 2 truths and a dare. If 2 people picked truth in a row, then the next person had to do a dare. Thought it was more fun that way.
Oh, yeah, that's a good house rule. Giselle says her friend got dared to find a new group to play, and that she also got a dare recently. To Meltdown! Look out! She shoots at Olivia, but it hits Penelope, and the gut-shot gun wound causes her to die in Olivia's arms. Giselle's dare was to specifically kill Olivia, though, and since she failed, her face becomes smiley, and her possessed form kills herself with a brutal gunshot to
Join large-scale battles with military vehicles. The online action game War Thunder has received a major update.
the head. Olivia, Lucas, and Marky research the Mexican church and learn that it's the Rosarito Mission, which was the site of a massacre in 1967 that left a single nun survivor, Inez Reyes. Olivia runs upstairs to her room where she's attacked by a homeless guy who asks her truth or dare. She answers dare, breaking the poor guy of his possession, and he runs from the house, confused and scared. Yo, why you chasing that dude, Lucas? You know he didn't do anything, other than give Olivia a dare, of course.
He dared me to to sleep with Lucas.
She tells Marky she picked Dare so everyone else could pick Truth, but the selfless reasoning doesn't make Marky any less mad. Fuck off, Marky. You know the situation you're in right now. Why is everyone in this movie so dumb?
I don't think he knew where he was.
Oh, really? The possessed homeless guy didn't know where he was? Great detective work, dude. Olivia admits to Lucas that she actually picked Dare because there's a truth about Marky that she's too afraid to answer. But it don't really matter why you picked Dare, Liv. Y'all better get to shagging. Though, damn, she still has a broken hand? Guess no foreplay then. It's an unexpectedly steamy sex scene for a PG-13 movie with Lucy Hale, until all of a sudden, it gets a little kinky.
Truth.
A lot, right? Marky's up next in the game, and her question is asked from her dad who lives in her phone. She confesses that she's held on to the gun he used to kill himself, and he makes a scary suggestion.
Maybe you should get it.
Lucas and Olivia drive into Mexico so they can speak with the nun who survived that massacre at the church. These days, Inez Reyes is old and silent, not having spoken to anyone since the massacre, instead communicating with written messages. Olivia reads aloud about how Inez and the other nuns were sexually abused by a priest during their games of hide and seek. One day, the young nuns decided to fight back, so Inez summoned a demon named Kalex who possessed all of their games. It dismembered the abusive priest, but forced the nuns to keep playing, killing them in turn until Inez was able to stop it.
The person who released the demon can trap it with a simple ritual, but only by his own hand.
She stopped Kalex by saying a spell and sacrificing her tongue into one of these spooky skull jars. I've got to admit, though, that I always mentally check out when supernatural horror movies get into detailed spells and rituals, and I hate trying to convey it all in kill counts. They tell Brad that they have to track down that Sam dude who Giselle said trashed the place. If Sam broke Inez's spooky skull jar, it would have released Kalex, so he's got to be the one to donate his tongue to the swear jar. Brad is pulled outside by his dad, who, by the way, is played by Tom Choi, who voiced Liu Kang in MKX.
Illusions are petty magic. This is no illusion.
I thought that was cool. Brad's dad says he still loves him no matter what, but then Brad is asked truth or dare by a demon voice on his dad's radio. He's forced to choose dare, and his challenge is to make his dad beg for his life. After one last hug, he grabs the service weapon and gives it a go, but his dad doesn't beg in time, and Brad is shot and killed by his dad's police partner. Or probably, his future ex-partner. Really shot your partner's son, dude? Damn. At the police station, the final three players are reunited, and Olivia is asked truth or dare by a stretchy-faced Lucas. She says dare to avoid the uncomfortable truth she mentioned, but it doesn't work.
I dare you to tell Marky the secret you fear most.
Oh, the old daring to tell a truth loophole. Works every time. Olivia's confession is a tragic intersection of backstories. One day when she was upset, she went over to Marky's house, and Marky's drunk dad made a move on her. She resisted, he persisted, and when she finally stopped him, she told him something he took to heart.
I told him that you'd be better off if you were dead.
Bro, you cannot, is she blamed, bro?
Shit, that's how you kill a friendship, folks. And a dad, too, I guess. A detective on the case mentions that everyone seems to be dead except for the love triangle trio and Giselle's friend Sam, who, turns out, is actually Carter. I think the whole Carter-Sam thing is a real shitty plot-stalling mystery to have, but whatever, at least it's over now. A distressed Marky retrieves the gun her dad used to kill himself, and when Olivia gets home later, she finds her friend pointing it at her own face. Olivia apologizes for what she told Marky's dad, and Marky says it wasn't her fault. So here, let's just end this sappy shit and get to the finale, right? They drive to Carter's and abduct him from his tinfoil apartment with the help of Marky's dad's gun.
Sweet little Olivia's not shooting anyone.
Try me. I dare you.
Ugh, that's a trailer line if I've ever heard one. The four of them go back to Mexico and back to the old mission, where inside they force Carter to start reciting the prayer Inez wrote down for them. During his recitals, the place gets shaky and Carter's face gets stretchy.
Truth or dare, Lucas?
Lucas dumbly picks dare, even though truth was available to him, and he's dared to kill either Olivia or Marky.
Why did you pick dare?
Because I knew if I didn't, then one of you would have to.
Yeah, you moron, but y'all are about to end it with the seance, remember?
You're such an idiot.
All love you are! Carter finishes his recital, and Olivia tells him there's one more thing he's gotta do.
I need you to cut out your tongue.
With the place collapsing all around them, and Lucas becoming possessed for failing to complete his dare, it's getting to be 10 past tongue cutting o'clock, dude, so get to it! Oh, he's actually doing it. Well, good. The possessed Lucas doesn't want to let Carter finish though, so he gets the girls off of him and stabs Carter in the stomach with his knife, which quickly kills him. Then he takes that knife and slits his own throat with it, though his neck looks weird and fake in the shot with the blood. God, dude, why did you pick Dare? With Carter dead, they're unable to stop the game, but Olivia's got one more trick up her sleeve. A dead Lucas asks Marky the titular question, and Marky is dared to shoot Olivia. She refuses to do so, allowing Kalex to possess her, but then Olivia makes it so the dare is technically completed and asks the demon himself truth or dare.
I'm not in this game.
Once you're asked, you're in. Those are the rules, right? So truth or dare, asshole.
Kalex chooses truth and tells Olivia that
he chose truth because he was scared.
they'll never be able to escape the game. It'll always come back to their turns. Olivia realizes that the best thing she can do is prolong the inevitable indefinitely.
Olivia has the epiphany that they can spread the game. They can invite the entire world to play and never have another turn.
Yep, Olivia's character arc is apparently learning that it's okay to sacrifice the many to save the few. To keep herself and Marky alive, Olivia spreads the game out to as many people as possible by uploading a video that's watched all over the world. In it, she invites everyone to be part of the game.
I'm so sorry, but I have to ask you. Truth or dare?
But the movie ends before we see any more kills, so don't even start with me on that shit. How many people died daringly in this truthfully stupid movie? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
Well, I thought the movie was pretty good, but now that he's like, this, you know, analyzing it and seeing how stupid it is, I mean, I guess it's not practical, but it was still a good movie though.
Ooh, wow, that really stretches out the face muscles.
I want to see if I can do it. I want to see if I can do it. Wait. Let me stop, let me stop, let me stop, let me stop.
8 people died in Truth or Dare, with 5 male victims and only 3 female victims. Dude, I told you to invite more chicks to the party. With a runtime of 101 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 12.63 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Tyson for sure. My least favorite character enduring my favorite death, and they used practical effects to make it happen. I always love that. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Brad, who was shot in broad daylight. And that's it. Truth or Dare came out in 2018, and there's talks of a sequel in development, but we'll see. On Sunday, we're looking at the cult classic Jennifer's Body. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. Just a reminder that I want to cover the movies that you want to see, but I'd rather have the comments on a video be about that video. Plus, it's impossible for me to keep
Countdown? Nah. The Invisible Man was The Invisible Man. I feel like I've heard of that before. Freddy vs. I know he like so. I ever watched Tales from the Hood. A sadistic family brutally tortures rooms for pleasure spiral. Hellraiser. Countdown. Benny, what the freak? Final Destination. Oh yeah, this was a good one. No, I don't want to do that. Closed player. Should I be in incognito mode? There's nobody really here, so I hope I won't regret that.
Very disturbing news out of Vernon Central High School.
What's going on? Undertax and students have guns.
I want to watch this.
We are in charge now, so pull out with.
I want to watch this.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the 2007 remake of Halloween, written and directed by Rob Zombie. This is the first Rob Zombie film to appear on the...
I gotta get comfortable. No! I just wasted my water.
The Kill Count, and his movies are basically a subgenre unto themselves. Sexy, gory music videos with profane, low-class characters. That's fine when you're chilling with the Firefly family, but many Halloween fans were understandably concerned when Zombie was picked to remake the classic 1978 original. A sequel to Resurrection had been planned, but then tragedy struck. Mustafa Akkad, the grandfather of the Halloween franchise and the only person involved in all 8 of the films I've covered so far, was killed along with his daughter in a 2005 terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda in Jordan. Rest in peace and continued well wishes to their family. With Akkad gone and the series bogged down by various timelines and shitty films, Mustafa's son Malik took over and allowed a total reboot, putting Zombie in charge. He and John Carpenter told Zombie to make the movie his own, so he did, and that's why we got a Halloween featuring characters who are the human equivalent of a trailer park built on top of a dumpster. Zombie wanted to explore the backstory of Michael Myers, so the first half of this movie kind of functions as the Phantom Menace of the Halloween franchise, showing us a previously mysterious villain as an annoying little boy who probably peed the bed. The second half is just a straightforward remake, and it's where a lot of critics found fault since it's almost painfully faithful to the original. Finally, one last note here. There are 2 versions of this movie, the theatrical release and the director's cut, and you've probably seen the director's cut since it's more widely available on home media, but to keep things consistent, I'm gonna use the theatrical version for the kill count, then show you all the differences in another cut comparison. That sound fair? Whether you think so or not, let's get to the kills. The movie begins in a familiar town on a familiar holiday. Inside this unassuming home, a living dead girl, Deborah Myers, argues with her piggish boyfriend Ronnie, and right off the bat, their dialogue tells us, yep, we're in a Rob Zombie movie right now.
The whore with the big tits hanging down to her knees?
Maybe I'll choke the chicken, purge my snorkel all over them flappy-ass tits.
Oof, but you know what? I don't want to be judgmental and assume that all the dialogue will sound like that. It's probably just a couple quick lines, right?
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
Hey, what? Yeah, these two are all sorts of dysfunctional, which is not a good living situation for Deborah's 3 kids. Little baby Angel, nicknamed Boo, is already crying up a storm here, and older sister Judith has to deal with disgusting sexual harassment from Ronnie. Yuck. Then there's younger brother Michael, who's starting his day wearing a clown mask and playing with his pet mouse Elvis. Oh, did I say playing with? I meant murdering with a scalpel, because this kid's an introductory course level psychopath. Rob Zombie's Halloween wants to do what Busta Rhymes pretended to do in Resurrection, that is, actually explore how Michael ended up the way he did. So we see him getting picked on at home by that piece of shit Ronnie, and bullied at school by this piece of shit spy kid. The bully, Wesley, shows Michael a picture of his mom's advertising materials, and that causes a bathroom fight to break out that Michael makes worse after the principal intervenes to stop it.
Fuck you.
Michael, that's the principal. He's your pal. Michael's continual problems in school cause a child psychologist to be brought in. One Samuel Loomis, now played by the world's greatest droog and penthouse emperor, Malcolm McDowell. He shows Deborah some things about Mikey she ain't gon' likey. Stuff like a dead cat he has in his backpack and pictures he was carrying around of dead dogs and cats. As Deborah grows more concerned, Michael takes a familiar music cue to get out of there.
I have to evaluate him.
He runs, if that's what you want to call it, down the hallway and retrieves the clown mask from his locker, then starts following Wesley on his walk home from school. In the woods, Michael attacks Wesley and knocks him down with a friggin' tree branch, which he then uses to beat the kid relentlessly. He gets the bully to the point of tears, but doesn't stop beating him, not even letting up when the dude tries to crawl away. After a few more heavy-sounding hits, Michael lifts his mask and looks down at the bloody-faced bully, who at this point is begging for his life. But I don't know if y'all remember this, Mikey here is a textbook case of antisocial personality disorder, so he takes that tree branch and finishes the job, beating Wesley to death with it. In this timeline, Michael's first ever murder is not his older sister in an emotionless act, but a school bully in a fit of rage. That night, while watching Thing from Another World, Ronnie continues to taunt his girlfriend's son like a jackass.
Judith is gonna be late.
God, this dude sucks. And to further ruin Michael's night, Judith is refusing to take him trick-or-treating, instead opting to stay at home and get it in with her boyfriend Steve. That leads into a weird montage that intercuts Michael crying on a curb with his mom Deborah stripping to Love Hurts by friggin' Nazareth. Hey, yeah, Rob Zombie, we know you're just trying to show off how hot your wife is, man. We get it. You both should be very proud. We get a pretty random origin story for the classic Michael Myers mask here. Instead of being stolen from the Halloween mask section at the local hardware store, the Captain Kirk visage is brought into Michael's world through Steve trying to give Judith a scare in bed. She's not very impressed. Why would this kid randomly whip out a mask in that moment?
Come on, babe. I want to do it with the mask on.
What? You're not gonna be able to see anything, and it's gonna smell like latex the whole time. But with the mask in the mix, you know the murder can't be far behind, and Michael continues to add to the kill count after taking a bunch of duct tape and using it to tie Ronnie to his lazy boy. Damn, dude, how heavy a sleeper are you? I mean, I guess all the booze helps. In fact, Ronnie is so passed out, he doesn't actually wake up until Michael uses a chef's knife to slit his throat. It's simple in its brutality, and Michael is totally remorseless as he does it. Unlike the more emotional Wesley kill, this one truly feels like the origin kill for Michael Myers as we know him. Steve leaves Judith's room, the verdict's still out on whether or not he got to go to Clown Pound Town, and while he's making a post-coital sandwich for himself at the kitchen table, Michael comes from behind with a baseball bat and thwacks him on the head with it. Damn, Mikey, that dude didn't even really do anything to you. But Michael still kills him with repeated strikes from the bat as actor Adam Wiseman sells it with some great unsettling twitches. Maybe Judith's boyfriend in the original should be happy he's a Minuteman. It got him out of the Myers house before something like this could happen to him. Michael leaves his body on the floor as he heads towards the victim we know must come next, Sister Judith, who's listening to Don't Fear the Reaper on her headphones in an homage to that driving scene with Annie and Laurie from the original. Michael enters her room and trades out that juvenile clown mask for something more mature that he finds. It's a little big on you, kid, but don't worry, you'll grow into it. He gets weirdly pervy with his sister, which, you know, none of us really want to see, and when she realizes what he's doing, she yells at him and slaps him in the mask. That's when he takes the knife and stabs her in the stomach with it. It's a more drawn out kill than the one from the original, as Michael takes the knife out and gives his sister a chance to make it out into the hallway. Run, Judith, run! She slowly limps away with the ridiculous looking mini Mike stepping out and stalking her down the hallway as Carpenter's classic score plays. He catches up to her and uses his knife to slash her all to pieces until she finally succumbs to her wounds and dies on the hallway floor. Kind of funny how 23 minutes in, this movie is just now getting to the opening scene of the original. With everyone else dead, the only other living soul in the house is Baby Boo, who Michael spares with some holiday cheer.
Happy Halloween, Boo.
Aw, that's cute. Deborah gets home from work to find Michael sitting on the porch with the baby, but he refuses to respond to her when she asks him what's wrong, her only answer coming in the form of distant sirens growing louder. A stylized news report scene summarizes the victims and showcases Deborah's anguish, and the last shot on this fateful night shows that Michael's gonna be in a smidge of legal trouble. Smash cut to Smith's Grove 11 months later, Michael Myers has now been placed in the care of Dr. Sam Loomis. Their sessions together show that Michael claims not to recall the murders at all. In fact, he asks his mom during a visit if everyone at home is okay. So what, he's also dissociative now? Don't think about it. Here's a random Danny Trejo playing a friendly Smith's Grove staff member named Ismail, who has the same backstory as actual Danny Trejo.
I spent a little time behind walls.
Yes, he did. Time goes by, and we watch as Michael's emotional and mental well-being deteriorates during his confinement. He hides behind masks and screams about how he wants to go home, until eventually he stops talking entirely to both his mom and Dr. Loomis. A little while after the silent treatment settles in, he ends up killing a nurse played by Sybil Danning by taking a loose fork and stabbing her in the neck with it. The last couple shots we see of Nurse Wynn show her still moving and breathing, but the internet says this is a kill, so I'm not gonna take it away from Mikey. This murder ends up being the breaking point for Deborah Myers, as we see in the ensuing screaming match, where the only thing we the audience hear is a persistent alarm siren. That night, she watches some home movies on a projector before taking out a handgun and shooting herself off screen. After the gunshot, we hear the wails of little baby Boo, who's now become an orphan, poor thing. This whole damn scene is really sad. We're finally getting out of the past and 15 years into the present. Ismail still works at Smith's Grove, but is 3 months away from retirement, which means he'll soon be passing the security baton over to new guards, like this abrasive dude, Noel.
What's the dick going on, Ishmael? What the fuck, man?
Michael Myers has grown into a mountain of a man, played by former pro wrestler Tyler Mane. And Mane's physicality is one of the best parts of the Rob Zombie movies. I think everyone can agree that this Michael Myers is the most shit-your-pants terrifying of the series. Michael meets with Dr. Loomis, and since he still hasn't said a single word in 15 years, Loomis is being taken off of his case by the Smith's Grove higher-ups. That's fine with Sam, though, because this version of the good doctor is more interested in book tours and looking like Steve Jobs than hunting down the embodiment of evil. On the night of October 30th, Michael Myers is set to be transported to a different facility by a quad of guards that include horror icon Bill Moseley and Police Academy's Leslie Easterbrook. As they and the other guards lead the ogre-sized Michael through the facility, things go predictably wrong after Michael busts out of his chains using nothing but his own strength. The 4 guards get killed in quick succession during Michael's violent escape. First, Bill Moseley just gets punched to death, I guess, and the next dude gets his noggin crushed against the wall over and over again. Then there's one of those human shield, oops, I shot my friend type deals to kill the 3rd guard, and the last one, Leslie Easterbrook, is killed after Michael slams her against a wall and just yanks her throat out, leaving her to crumble to the floor and die on the ground. Sounds like a good time for our first Michael Myers head tilt. You can't have a Halloween without it. Ismail comes back to the hospital for some reason and calls out for a missing nurse named Gloria. He never sees her, bleeding out to death on the other side of a wall, apparently having had her throat ripped out as well. I guess that's a good way to kill someone when you don't have a knife yet. Ismail does, however, find another pair of cops dead in the hallway, so let's add them to the count too. I've noticed some other counts online not include these dudes, and maybe it's because they think they're part of the 4 guards that we just saw killed a minute ago. But look at these guys, they're new victims. At least I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, whatever. Michael comes up behind Ismail and gives him a festive spook, and the guard tries to save his own life by talking to Mikey like an old friend. But he overplays his hand when he tries to cuff Michael's wrists, because this newly freed psychopath grabs the craggly Mr. Cruz and tosses him around, even as Ismail tries to play the friendship card. Michael ends up dunking Ismail a bunch of times in a sink that turns dark red with his blood. But drowning is not the ultimate cause of death, because Ismail is left just alive enough to watch Michael take a TV off the wall and crush his head with it. Damn, Mikey, he was good to you. At a truck stop playing the best prog rock trio of all time, trucker Joe Grizzly, played by another vet of the genre, Ken Foray, stops for a fill-up and to check that he still has that bitchin' hairdo going on. Don't worry, Joe, you do. As he's looking at some porn on the toilet, Michael enters the bathroom and sticks his nasty feet under the stall door. This pupus interruptus naturally escalates into a situation calling for a knife, but when Joe opens the stall door, he gets attacked by Michael, who beats his hand relentlessly against the stall wall in a fantastically physical scene wherein neither actor used a stunt double, of frickin' course. Eventually, Michael disarms Joe and uses the knife to stab him twice in the gut, killing him. It's crazy to see someone tower over the 6'5" Ken Foray, but if you need proof that Michael's the same size, you get it when he steals the truck driver's clothes before he leaves. Again, don't drive trucks in Halloween.
What is Outplay? You play and it records. You can choose exactly what you want it to record, whether it be kills, assists.
It's now 50 minutes into the movie, and we're finally getting to Haddonfield on Halloween Day so we can meet this universe's Laurie Strode. She's played very well by Scout Taylor Compton, but she's not exactly the same uptight character as Jamie Lee Curtis's version.
Laurie!
I'm sorry.
But like I mentioned in the intro, this movie's second half mostly apes the original, so in no time at all, Laurie's walking to school alongside little Tommy Doyle and dropping off keys at the old Myers house. Michael has already beaten her there, where he somehow knows to dig underneath the floorboards to find his murder mask from when he was a kid. I don't know what it was doing down there, but I will say that I like the nasty grungy mask in these Rob Zombie movies. It looks like it just belongs here, you know? At school, we get a welcome surprise with Danielle Harris playing Annie Brackett, Laurie's friend who was originally played by Nancy Loomis. Their other friend, Linda Vanderklok, is also back, and so is the amazing disappearing Michael Myers, who can vanish into thin air as soon as you take your eyes off him. Spectacular. Our walk down Remake Lane includes nods to original dialogue,
Totally wrapped.
as well as recreations of original scenes. Annie's dad is still the sheriff in this version, but all due respect to Charles Cyphers, we get an upgrade here since this Sheriff Brackett is played by the voice of Chucky himself, Brad fucking Dourif. Yes! Hell yes! At Smith's Grove, Loomis tells an ice cream man posing as a doctor that Michael must surely be headed for Haddonfield, then goes there himself, where a clown posing as a gravedigger takes him to Judith Myers' grave. They're dismayed to find that it's been decorated with a dead animal, which is a clear signal to Loomis. He knows how Mikey loves to kill animals, that bastard. Apparently, the abandoned Myers house is a hangout spot for Haddonfield high schoolers now, because Linda and her boyfriend Bob go there to bone, not noticing Michael on the balcony. I like that simple change. It makes more sense than fucking in Lindsay Wallace's parents' bed. Bob gets a cramp during sexy times that kills the mood, so he runs outside to get them some beer from the cooler in his van. Wait, this dude's got a cooler full of beer and a van? Man, he's so high school cool. He goes to ghost Bob it up, but unfortunately, the bit is cut short by Michael assaulting him out of nowhere. We all know where this is going. Michael lifts Bob up by the neck against the wall, and after choking him for a bit, takes out his patented kitchen knife. Once again, he uses it to stab through Bob and pin him to the wall, and once again, we're left wondering how we're supposed to believe that a kitchen knife went all the way through a human torso, deep enough into a wall to support his weight, and still shows some blade on the outside. How long are these knives? Upstairs, Linda rolls over to find herself in front row seats at the Ghost Bob show. Lucky, I love that show. Michael makes her get up out of the blankets for that beer, so that means we're gonna be watching a completely naked chick get murdered right now. He grabs her and chokes her to death with his bare hands, no phone cord needed, until her body slumps to the ground. Yeah, if you didn't notice, this movie landed on a track a little bit ago and has a real straightforward ride ahead. But at least the ride has a few fun supporting characters, like Laurie's parents Mason and Cynthia. Cynthia especially is a nice addition to the film, with a fun and vulnerable performance by kill count veteran Dee Wallace. Annie picks up Laurie from her house for their meeting at the Babysitters Club, and after they leave and Cynthia goes inside, Mason thinks about, oh shit, punch to the face, oh no! Aw man, Michael, you got here faster than I expected. I wanted to watch these two characters for a while, but too late for that, because Michael kills Mason with some knife slashes off screen. He walks in and delivers the corpse to Mason's very shocked and very sudden widow. Michael then corners Cynthia against a wall and gets her screaming and slinking to the floor, and the next time we see her, she's crawling towards a phone. Michael stops her and ends her life with a pretty simple neck snap. Son of a bitch, that was not enough Dee Wallace for me. The next stop on Michael's tour of original Halloween scenes is at Lindsay Wallace's house, where he stands behind her as she watches everyone's favorite movie in these movies, Thing from Another World. He follows Annie and Lindsay out of the house and watches as they walk down the sidewalk to Tommy Doyle's place, where he waits outside as Paul.
This man is huge as freak. How do you not hear him? Walking up behind you and then hiding throughout the house, bro. What the...
pulls up to pick up Annie. Before she leaves, Annie tells Laurie that she's been setting up a blind date for her with, wait, can you guess who?
Ben Tramer.
Yeah, Ben Tramer! And we all know his reputation as an absolutely explosive lover. You know, just a hunk of burning love. Loomis meets up with Sheriff Chucky to tell him and a bunch of giant purple spots on the screen that Michael Myers is in town and a dangerous man. But in his office, Brackett tells Loomis that he's read his book and he thinks he's a charlatan who's inflated the legend of Michael Myers to sell more copies. That all changes when Loomis says that Michael may be in town to hunt down his baby sister, which worries Brackett enough for him to ring-a-ding-ding the Strodes. They can't come to the phone right now because, well, you know, they're dead, and the unanswered call spurs Brackett into action. Back at Lindsay's house, Annie is making out with her boyfriend Paul as we all try to forget that we watched this actress when she was 12.
Fuck me? Yeah?
So fucking hot.
Fuck me?
Oh man, that's weird. We don't have to watch them make out for too long though, because Paul gets yanked back off of Annie and stabbed by Michael in the gut with his knife. It's a pretty quick death and the dude is pretty much discarded, but at least he actually made it into this movie, unlike his counterpart in the original, who was only ever heard over the phone. So now we've got like the third topless victim for Michael to murder. Talk about becoming a stereotype. Annie tries to fight back with a kitchen knife, but gets socked to the ground by Michael, who then drags her off screen out of the hallway. While Annie's dealing with Michael, her dad is telling Loomis what happened with Michael's baby sister Boo. Brackett was the one called to Deborah Myers' house after her suicide, and he took the orphaned baby to an emergency room in a neighboring town. But 3 months later, his buddy Mason Strode adopted the baby. So yes, in this timeline, Laurie Strode is still Michael's younger sister, birth name Angel Myers. We watch baby Boo walk Lindsay Wallace back to her house because she's sick of pulling double duty here, and as soon as they turn on the lights, they find Paul's body with a pumpkin head and Annie crumpled up on the ground, all bloody and pale. She is still alive though, so Laurie sends Lindsay back to Tommy's house to hole up while she dials 911 for help. The call gets routed to Sheriff Brackett and Loomis, who change course and head for the Wallace house. But they'd better get there fast because Michael Myers has decided it's time for final girl festivities. Laurie breaks a glass door to get out of the house and starts screaming for help from the neighbors as she limps away from her murderous older brother. She gets back to Tommy's house and he lets her in, but Michael's knocking at the door. Do him a favor, let him in. Yeah. Laurie and the kids manage to hide as the Haddonfield PD gets to the house in record time. Wow, and effective police presence. That's kinda cool. Only maybe effective was a bit of an overstatement, since in no time at all, this first cop, Officer Lowry, gets slammed against the door and stabbed in the back by Michael, his corpse leaving some red waterfall art on the window as it slides down. The second cop, Deputy Charles, actually lands a shot on Michael's shoulder, but then he too is quickly disposed of with a few stabs from Michael and his knife. I see that this Michael is going for quantity over quality when it comes to his kills. I mean, that's one way to do it. Michael grabs Lori and hauls her away from the kids, then somehow knocks her out because the next time we see him, he's carrying her body down the street as sirens wail in the distance. Those sirens belong to Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis, and they arrive at Lindsay Walls' house to find Annie still breathing on the floor. The sheriff stays with his daughter as an ambulance arrives to help her, while Loomis finds out where Michael went from the kids and runs off into the night to confront him. Lori wakes up in a dirt floor basement where the naked body of her friend Linda is lying in front of Judith Myers' tombstone. Michael shows up with a knife in hand and walks towards Lori slowly as she sobs and begs him not to hurt her. Come on, Lori, has that ever worked? Oh, he dropped the knife, and now he's taking out a picture? Yes, Michael, that is the two of you together. Family, good. No kill family. But Lori doesn't fully comprehend what's going on here, even after she takes the picture from him and he takes off his mask to reveal his Andrew WK on steroids look. So she crawls over to the knife and swiftly stabs her kidnapper in the shoulder with it, taking him down. She starts to make her way out of this place as Michael sits up, takes the knife out of his shoulder, and remasks himself. Family bad? She manages to get out of the building right as he gets going again, but a tumble into an empty pool leaves her trapped when Michael comes around. And guess what, Lori? Ain't no lifeguard on duty tonight. Actually, wait a minute. Dr. Loomis is here to save the day with a flotation device, or gun. He takes out a gun and shoots Michael with it. In fact, he shoots him 1, 2, 3 times, and that gets Michael to the ground? What is that shit? I was expecting twice as many shots. Loomis skims Lori out of the pool, and the two of them leave Michael face down in a pile of leaves. Surely that must be the end of this movie, right? I mean, hell, we've even got the same final lines from the original.
Was that the boogeyman?
I do believe it was.
Oh, just kidding. I guess there's a hidden track on this Rob Zombie album, because we still going in this bitch. Michael takes Lori as a hostage, while Loomis begs him to let her go. It works better than expected, and Michael lets Lori go to attack Loomis. The doctor gets his eyes gouged in pretty friggin' deep there, which knocks him out. Eventually, Lori makes her way back to where Loomis fell so she can grab the gun that he dropped, and to make a long chase scene short, she winds up in the attic. After hearing her above him, Michael tries to fish her out of there by busting up the ceiling. He never lands a direct hit on her, but she eventually falls out of the attic through the ceiling on her own. Right as she stands up and woozily aims her gun, Michael charges at her and knocks her through a wall and a balcony straight into a smash cut to black. And fun fact, stunt coordinator Ron Hutchinson actually told me that this was the most difficult stunt to pull off out of both Rob Zombie movies. We come back up on the siblings lying in a bloody heap on top of each other. Lori reaches over to get the gun and then straddles herself on top of her enormously big brother to finally put him down. The movie ends with him grabbing her hand right as she fires the gun into his head, and Lori screams herself silly as police sirens draw nearer. Did this remake wind up with the same number of kills as the original? You already know the answer is hell nah, but let's get to the numbers anyway. Ooh. Look at me, I'm Deborah Myers.
Ooh, he's sweating.
I'm a sexy dancer. Right?
Look at his armpits.
Right. "22 people died in Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. The victims included 15 men and 7 women, giving us a more than 2-to-1 dead dude ratio. And with a runtime of 110 minutes, we wound up with a kill on average every 5 minutes flat. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Joe Grizzly. It's not so much the final 2 stabs that win the award, but rather the crazy raw fight that these 2 behemoths have before that. Apparently they wrecked a real bathroom with their own bodies, like that stall wall wasn't a fake one or anything. It's a real intense scene, and you gotta love Ken Foray being a part of it. Doll Machete for lamest kill will go to Cynthia Strode, who got a simple neck snap. That is no way to treat America's mom from the 80s, Michael. And that's it. Halloween 2007 made a lot of money, and the producers eventually convinced Rob Zombie to make a sequel, even though he really didn't want to. We'll take a look at his Halloween 2 next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for